Hi, I'm Ed Karsham with Equities.com. We're at the Grand Hyatt in New York City for the Marcum MicroCap Conference 2015. Mr. Stephen Simes is the CEO of RestorGenex. Now, you guys trade where?
We're right now on the bulletin board.
Okay.
And hoping to move to NASDAQ within the next couple of months.
Okay, and your symbol is RESX?
That is correct.
And is there a website that we can go and visit you?
Yes, it is. We do have one. It's RestorGenex.com, as you might imagine.
Okay, that's simple enough.
Yes,
Thanks for being with us today.
You're
I appreciate
welcome,
you.
Thank you. Good to be
Why
here.
don't you give our investment community a brief overview of the company, its operation, and where you're at today?
Thank you.
Sure.
I really would be happy to. Well, we are RestorGenex, RESX is our symbol, and we are a biopharmaceutical company concentrating in three areas: ophthalmology, oncology, and dermatology. Specifically in ophthalmology, we're looking at macular degeneration. In oncology, we're leading with glioblastoma, brain cancer, a very serious condition. And in dermatology, a much lower risk alternative, and that is for treatment of acne. In terms of what else we have, I'm very proud of our people. Not only do we have a good management team, and in fact, RestorGenex is the fourth company where I've been CEO. At each of the previous companies were sold to or merged with others.
Yes.
But our board is really dynamic. Saul Barrer, who you might know as one of the founders and the previous chairman of Celgene Corporation, is chairman of the board. So good pedigree, very wide experience, and very successful. The last piece of this puzzle, I think, is the money. We have about $18 or $19 million in the bank, which will take us well into next year. So we have the people, the products, and the plan to implement and the cash to do it.
What are the growth prospects in your target market, and how do you plan to capitalize on them?
Well, so the market's very large, already existing. We hope to make a contribution. In macular degeneration, there are only 2 or 3 products that currently are used to treat what's known as wet, age-related macular degeneration. But that is a $6 billion market with just a handful of products. And so these are very underserved markets where we need improved products. In the case of glioblastoma, very serious condition, and we can talk more about survival, and it's not very good. But the market today is about $1 billion, and the market research companies predict that that'll grow to $4 to $5 billion in the next couple of years because of newer, better therapies that will come along.
What are some strategic advantages, competitive edges that you have in these particular areas of research and development?
Well, I'll talk both about macular degeneration and oncology. In macular degeneration, the products today, Lucentis is a product that many people have heard about. It's about a $4 billion product. That product is injected straight into the eye, and I'm doing it with my finger. That is, a needle goes straight into the patient's eye. Therapy starts at about once per month. So these are older patients who have trouble seeing. In fact, macular degeneration is the leading cause of blindness in the U.S. And so here's a needle coming straight into the eye on a once a month basis. However, in many patients, 40 or 50%, it works. So it helps them. Our product, it will be administered subconjunctivally. And if I can tell the viewers to think of pink eye, conjunctivitis, it's actually the clear layer that coats our eye. And our product is injected between the clear layer and the white of our eye, and a depot is formed. So much less invasive injection, and because of the depot, we can treat these patients over 3 or 4 months with one injection. That's the hope, and that's what we're doing. Right now, we're in preclinical work to move into wider clinical trials next year. However, in macular degeneration, we've actually finished 2 phase 1 clinical trials with exactly what you want to see in early stage trials. No safety issues with early indications of biologic activity. In the case of glioblastoma, where there are not very many good choices, in fact, unfortunately, Ed, when diagnosed with glioblastoma, patients live about 6 months. Even with active chemotherapy and radiation therapy, that's extended to about 12 months. So there's a big unmet medical need here. Our product is orally delivered rather than injections or infusions.
Why are these underserved markets?
Well, look, a couple of years ago, there weren't any products. So patients got a diagnosis and they died within 6 months. Now they're living to be 12 months. And it takes time to develop the products, and these are, as you can imagine, difficult areas to develop because it goes so fast. The biggest problem in cancer therapy is that we discover it very late in the process. So the earlier that cancer can be diagnosed, the better is the prognosis. Unfortunately, things like prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, it's often too late, and that's a problem. But we're working. The industry is working hard to find better therapies.
I knew somebody who died of bile duct cancer. My friend's husband died of that.
Right. Well, so there are so many different cancers. The markets vary. So, for example, in glioblastoma, there's fewer than 200,000 people who have this. From a commercial point of view, it might be one reason why the big companies don't work here. On the other hand, we've already applied for and received orphan drug designation, which comes with certain tax credits, certain advantages, and 7 years of market exclusivity when and if we get approval. So from a commercial point of view, that's very valuable. In any event, our product will be orally delivered, and we believe it works on one of the mechanisms of action that causes glioblastoma tumors to grow. We've shown excellent preclinical work, and we hope next year to move into the clinic in a phase 1/2 type study. So we believe we have advantages, and we're working in areas where there's a need for better products, and we hope to make a contribution.
And the third part was, you were talking, deals with dermatology and acne.
Dermatology and acne, it's a much lower risk. Patients are not likely to die. On the other hand, believe it or not, the acne market in the U.S. is about a $2 billion market.
I believe it.
But nothing has been approved for over 10 years. Still, antibiotics are one of the big treatments, but much like all antibiotics, resistance is building up. Our product acts locally with no systemic activity, and so ideally we're treating the acne and not causing any other problems. And there again, we hope to move into the clinic next year.
What are a few recent milestones or highlights that you've experienced with the company over the course of the last 12 months, and what significant momentum do you see happening in the next 12 months?
So in the last 12 months, what was really significant is deciding which of the lead indications. Because in many mechanisms of actions in different drugs, there's a lot of different directions. So we've now decided firmly, in the case of our product RES 529, that we're leading with macular degeneration and glioblastoma. But perhaps the bigger, more important activity is, in the last 12 months, we raised $35.6 million. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we have the financial wherewithal to implement the plan. Having said that, companies like ours always are aware that we have to raise money in the future. And so our objective is to maximize the stock price in order to not only satisfy our stockholders, but be able to raise money at better valuations later. In the next 12 months, Ed, we hope to move from this preclinical activity I described into 3 active clinical trials: macular degeneration, glioblastoma, and acne.
Wonderful. Steven Simes is the CEO. RestorGenex is the company. Check them out at RestorGenex.com. And I thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you very much.
And it's almost lunchtime.
It is.
I'm Ed Kirshen with Equities.com. We're going to go have lunch. See you soon.